Hey guys, today we will be discussing the structure of an atom, periodic table, in other words. First, atoms are the building blocks of chemistry. They consist of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Here I draw a picture where the electron shell is outside of the nucleus, and the nucleus contains protons and neutrons. The protons are the positively charged atoms, and the neutrons are the neutral atoms, and then you have the electrons on the outer shells, which is the electrons which are negatively charged. The number of electrons in an atom is always the same as the number of protons in the nucleus. Alright, so we have a periodic element, carbon. This is what I use for an example. 6 is the amount of protons and electrons that are in the carbon atom. It's classified as the atomic number. And then you have the symbol, which is one letter, or it can be two. Then you have the element name, and then you have the atomic mass, which is the protons plus the amount of neutrons. Now, neutrons can hold, there can be a varying number of neutrons, which we will get to in a minute. Electrons are arranged in a different shell around the nucleus. I use carbon as another example. As you can see, there are 6 protons in the nucleus, and then on the outer shell, the shells can only hold a certain amount of electrons. So the first outer shell can only hold 2, so you see that there's 2, but there is 6 protons, 6 electrons in the carbon atom. So you have the first 2 in the innermost shell, which can only hold 2, and then you have the last 4 atoms on the outer shell, on the second shell. Now the second shell can hold up to 8, but in this particular instance, we only have 6 electrons to place, so you put the last 4 on the outside. The first energy level can only hold 2. The second and third energy level can hold 8, up to 8 electrons. And if it holds up to 8 electrons, it is very stable. Isotopes are the same element, but different number of neutrons. As I mentioned before, the atomic mass is determined by the protons plus the neutrons. So I used carbon again. Carbon has 2 different isotopes, carbon-12 and carbon-14. Now the numbers right here stand for the atomic mass. So you will use that on the left side of the equation. So first we'll do the 12. So 12 equals 6, which is the amount of protons. We don't know the amount of neutrons. But once we figure out the equation by subtracting the 6 from the 12, we get 6 neutrons. Now if we come down here, now this one has a 14 atomic mass. So we will use the 14 minus the 6 again, because the 6 is the amount of protons in the molecule, and we will subtract it and get 8. So there are 2 additional electrons added on to carbon-14 to show you that there's 2 different isotopes. Alright, that concludes today's lesson. I will see you guys next week.